Morning, Facebook. I had something I wanted to talk to you guys about today, and then I looked on Facebook, and what I saw, it bothered me. Sorry, there was a dog over here. I'm walking, and a dog ran up to the fence, and I thought he was coming after me or something. So I had to disrupt myself there. You know, he's not even in the fence. Go home. Go home. Go home. Hey, hi, hello, yes, hello. How are you, buddy? Yeah, hi. Those are the dogs. Hi, guys. You guys gotta go home. You gotta go home. Hi, hello, guys. Hello, go home. What are you doing out? Huh? What are you doing out? Yeah, you're precious. You got a tag on you. What is that? You guys gotta go home. All right, well, they're not mean dogs, at least. So that's there. I'm a little weary of dogs because last year I was passing out some flyers and a big old Rottweiler bit me on the backside, and it was a scary scenario. So when I hear dogs, I pay attention. That's why I carry around this walking stick here, just in case. You know, you never know, you're going to run into a mean dog. And fortunately, they were nice dogs. But you know, this morning, what happened is I was looking through my Facebook, and I saw a post that I posted last year, and it broke my heart. It made me cry because the post was no way to live your life. It was a terrible post to post on there, and I don't know what I was going through in my head that made me just think about that post, because that post was. It said something like, sometimes you got to be the bad guy to do good. You know? And I'm sure it made sense at the time to me that was logical, right? That was the right way to do business. But that's not a right way of looking at things. To say that you got to do right to do good, do bad to do good. There's something my old youth pastor, all right, I even talked to him in a very long time, but his wife, Michelle Anderson, said this to me one day, and it stuck to me. And she said, Josh, it's never right to do wrong to do right. You know, and that's something that stuck in my head last year, and it implanted itself in my brain as an okay thought last year. Something that I posted on Facebook. And so This is a bit of a rant, and I apologize. But, you know, if somebody posts something like that on Facebook, be their friend and tell them, hey, you know what? This is wrong. Don't post that. That's a terrible post to make. And, you know, correct them and start it, because that little seed can be what grows into something terrible and something that just destroys someone's whole life when they're at a place like that, if that's really where they're at. Because I look at some of my actions this past week, and that's kind of the logic that was there, and that seed was planted last year, and I don't even remember it being planted, but it was there, and it sat there, and it grew, and it got watered by negativity, and it got watered by what I let come into my brain, and that allowed it to populate and to overgrow my heart to a point where my heart allowed itself to do something really stupid, and to think it was right. And it's kind of refreshing in another sense, because I see where the root was on it, or at least where the root post was, so I can go back and I can fix those problems so that they don't affect me now. Because if you don't pull up a weed by the root, sorry, I almost fell. If you don't pull up the weed by the root, what's going to happen to you is it's going to keep growing back, and it's going to grow back stronger, and that root system is going to get more, it's going to beef itself up, and it's going to be harder to pull. So pull it while it's small. Deal with it while it's small, okay? So that brings up another thought, and this is really what the key is going to be today, is I want to talk about the past. Because so many times we get hung up on the past. I am guilty of this. If you know me, you know that I am guilty of this. You know that I don't give stuff up. If there's something big that we're going through, I am the best person to be there because I'm rational and I'm there. If there's something small, unfortunately, with an eidetic memory, what happens is I remember every little detail of every single thing, and my analytical brain says, hey, this looks like this, so therefore this must be this, because this is what happened when this bad thing happened, and so my brain goes there. And that's how my mind works. I don't know if that's how other people's mind works. Maybe it's refreshing to know that someone else is as crazy as you, right? I don't know. But the reality is that what my mind does is it looks at those things and analyzes them. And I live in the past, even when I'm not trying to. And I've preached messages about this in the past, about past, present, and future. And so I'm just going to give you a little nugget, a little something out of those messages to help brighten your day and help you push forward and maybe leave the past in the past, finally. Okay? There's a lot of people who live in the past. And don't get me wrong, there is plenty of benefit to the past. If we continue to reinvent the wheel all of our lives, we're going to make no progress. As a matter of fact, we probably wouldn't even come up with something as good as the wheel. It's entirely possible that we'd come up with something better than the wheel. But if we continue to try to reinvent that, we go nowhere, right? So living in the past all the time is going to bring you nowhere but backwards. That's where we're going. We're going to make no progress, and we're going to actually make digress. So we're going to go backwards. Those who live in the now. Well, living in the now, enjoying the moments that are here while they're here, is an excellent principle. Now, some of you Christian friends of mine are like, oh, that's way off base. That is not an excellent principle. We can't live in the now. Of course we can. We're right here, right now. This is where we make our decisions. This is where we change our lives, right here, right now. Living in the now is important, but living for the now is not prudent, okay? It's not wise. It's not the best decision. Why is that? Because if we live for the now, if we live for this right now, for this joy right now, what's going to happen? Well, let's say I have a job that I don't like working, so I stop working that job because I don't like it. That's the now. Well, next week when I can't feed my family, that's because I quit my job now. It's a bad decision, right? We all can see that and understand that. If I want to go out there and I want to spend $500 on a brand new motorcycle, and I get that motorcycle now, and I got to pay rent next week, that's a bad decision. The now is not the best way to live. And more than likely, you've made mistakes like that in the past if that's what you're doing, and you probably should have observed some of those mistakes in the past. So how do we live our lives? What is the best way to live our lives? The best way to live our lives is we want to consider the past. We want to consider the mistakes that we've made. We also want to consider the successes that we've had so that we can duplicate the successes and not duplicate those mistakes. It is an important thing. So think about it this way. If I'm driving down the highway in my vehicle, I have to change lanes, I have to do things. If I never look at my rearview mirror, if I never look at my side mirrors, odds are eventually I'm going to sideswipe somebody and maybe kill somebody and hurt somebody, right? Because I'm not looking at the past. I'm not looking at what's behind me, what's coming up, what's going to affect me. I'm not observing that, right? I'm only paying attention to the now. And if I don't pay attention to what's ahead of me, right, I'm going to rear end somebody because there's going to be a traffic jam somewhere along the roads. And if I'm not watching that and I'm listening to my music or I'm texting on my cell phone or I'm doing something in the now that's fun, guess what? I'm going to rear end something and I'm going to be struck with something terrible that happens and occurs in my life. So what I have to do is I have to live in the now, considering what is ahead of me in the future, right? And then forgetting the bad mistakes in the past and not duplicating those past mistakes and watching for those past habits that I've had to come up alongside of me so that when I want to change lanes and I want to change directions, I don't sideswipe it, okay? It's like driving a car. That's your life there. Think about it like driving a car. Some people drive manuals, some people drive automatics. It doesn't matter what you're driving. Just drive safe. So live your life safe when you're out there on this road of life. Don't live in the past. Don't get caught up in your past mistakes. Don't get caught up in other people's past mistakes, okay? It is a terrible way to live. And I'm going to continue this in a part 2 of the same video blog. I just don't want it to go over 10 minutes. So I'll see you guys at part 2. Make sure to watch it. It's good for you.